Probably coming in, but let's get started. We've got fun things to work on and a world of maglev to learn about. Let me tell you, maglev is about the longest, most complex thing we've encountered. There's Zach McFarland. Okay, so today we're going to start with the warm-up. It's going to be my last thing in my grandfather series. See the person that you want to be. I want to talk to you a little about where you're going. What do you want to do with your life? Who do you want to be? How are you going to be successful? And how are you going to make that happen? I got some good ideas, very basic. We're going to finish our presentation on magnetic force and magnetic levitation. Ideally, I will get a volunteer or two to review the beautiful energy efficient custom kitchen competition, although I know my students are reluctant to show their fabulous work. We will work on our construction project, part 2. All you're doing today is you are researching 2 different construction techniques, right? We showed you a bunch. There is adobe, there's hay bale, there's corncob walls, there's cement walls, there's hollow core walls, there's wood frame walls. So there is a world of ways to build walls. And what I need you to do, not today, but before the end of the year, this is going to be our final project. The idea is to create 2 walls using different construction styles. So this one is a wood frame wall. These are 2x4s. This is your doorway. Look at the beautiful job they did on the exterior with the wood paneling. This one is a cement wall or a hollow core wall. It's hollow inside and they filled it with cement. Okay. This one is painted exterior with little lintel, very nice. Wood frame is what that is. And this is adobe. This is mud and straw, okay? I think they call it wattle too. This also has a nice floor in it. This one is just, this is the sort of adobe and cork wall and then a wood frame wall. Okay, that is what our final project is going to be. So today, all you're doing, and we'll go over it, is researching 2 construction techniques for building walls. Then you're going to take your supplies that are left over from your FOT bag or anything you can find in your house, and you're going to try and make one of these, just 2 walls on a base. Okay. These bases are just little squares of wood. You could use plastic, you could use cardboard, whatever works. I realize it is going to be varied, but I think this will be a fun little last project. All you got to do today is figure out what construction technique you want to do and put a little documentation in the form. Then next time we're going to be building them. Okay. Beverly. All right, so what is due is our construction project part 1. That was just you filled out the stuff along with the slideshow. I think a lot of people got that in. That's 20 points. Today, picking out your 2 styles of construction. Really easy, 20 points. I'm only making it 20 points to do the final build because I think it might be tough for some people to get that done before the end of the year, and I don't want you to be penalized by a big point score that you're not going to get. Okay? Anybody have questions about that? Any issues?
Yeah, I got an issue.
Sure. What's up?
So I didn't finish the first part of the construction in the introduction.
Okay.
And I just opened it and I answered like a couple questions and now my answers are not here.
Oh, no. Come on. well, don't worry. Pick up where you left off if what you think you got, and just use the slideshow. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just let me see that you worked on it, that you gave it a good effort, and you can put up at the top. My first questions disappeared. These days with the internet, with synergy and everything, the idea that strange things are happening, I am not doubting you. So you don't need to redo it. Just let me know and just try and fill in the end. I am very big on trying to get everybody some easy points at the end of the year in a mildly stress-free, fun way. Okay? So just know I appreciate effort. If you give me good effort, I will give you good points. Okay? I will take care of you. I don't quite consider you all my children, but you're close to it. All right? Okay, so what is our homework? We're going to finish magnetic force and levitation, so you'll be able to do your vocab for next class. Next week is a weird week. It's Memorial Day weekend on Monday. It's a BAAB week with graduations. It's going to be a little crazy. All right, the other thing you need to get me is your part 2, picking your construction style. All right, then we're just going to have another week to try and build our crazy walls. If you can staple 2 pieces of cardboard to something on a base, I will give you credit. Just be creative, do your best. And like I say, I think these are kind of fun. I'd like to make myself a mud pie and bake it and see if I could make a baked clay wall. That's my thought. All right, our objective or goal for the day is to evaluate magnetic force and magnetic levitation as tools for transportation. Learn about different construction styles and techniques and how to create a small model. All right. So once again, I didn't create a warm-up. I've been talking about my grandfather as just an example of a real person who came from nowhere, had no particular prospects in the world. He was the son of a doctor, yes, but this was a country doctor in like 1890 in the plains of Texas. His best money was probably, getting food and barter for his work. Okay. So I went to a wedding a week ago and I ran into someone who told me this idea. And I just feel that it is very worthwhile taking a minute to go over this with you. There he is. Okay, hang on. Let me stop sharing so I can pull up my one sheet that I need. I don't need you. I need you. All right. There we go. Well, actually, why don't I'm going to do this. All right. So first off, this is the man. So this guy here, these are his kids. That's my mom on the left. That's my aunts. That's his dog, Sailor. This guy was nothing special. Somehow he managed to go to West Point because a friend of his wrote him a letter and said, Davy, you got to come. He was in 11th grade. You never know what is going to happen to you or what opportunities are going to come along. Don't fret about it. Fate is very strange. I am a little bit of a fatalist because I find that it takes some worries away that I have about when am I going to die? Am I going to be rich? Will I have a happy marriage? It's all going to unfold and it's all going to happen the way that it's supposed to happen. And there's nothing I can really do about it. I don't give up free will, but knowing that when my time comes, I'm going to go. And there is nothing I can do about it. Until that point, I am not going to die. Something magic will happen. Someone will pull me back from the curb. You are only going to die when it is your time. When that is, we don't know. But if there's nothing you can do about it, you don't need to worry about it. Okay? So, coming back to this concept, this is about finding mentors, finding someone who will help you become the person that you want to be. So I sat with this gentleman and he told me, it's not what you want to be, it's who you want to be. Okay? What do you feel that that means? Can anybody tell me in the chat? It's not what you want to be, it's who you want to be. I want to be rich. I want to be happy. I want to be married with a big family. Those are what's that I want to be. Who do I want to be? I want to be kind. I want to be caring. I want to be a productive member of my society. And I want to make a difference in people's lives. That's part of what attracted me to teaching. That is who I want to be. For you guys, you are young, you're in high school. Look around you. Who looks like who you want to be? When you think about yourselves, I had a couple of students, one wants to be a forensic detective, the other wants to be a lawyer. Who could they find? Who do they see in the world around them that looks like what they want to be? I told the one who wanted to be a forensic detective to try going to the police station and just seeing if you could talk to a detective. She said she's wanted to do that all her life. You need to find the person who looks like what you want to be, and you need to convince them to be your mentor. Find the person who is the person you want to be and ask them, how can you become them? What do I need to do to become like you? That is a very flattering question. And particularly in the year of equity, etc., the idea that you as a high school student are reaching out to a professional and asking them for help, at saying, I like what you look like. I like what you represent. That is who I want to be too. Can you help me? That is a very powerful ask. Most people who are successful want to help others, particularly people that didn't have all the advantages that they had. So just to summarize, find the person who is the person you want to be. Ask them how you can be them. What does it take? Get the expert talking. Play the dumb guy. Ask for help. These are how you pull things out of people. When other people are explaining things to you or telling you stuff, they enjoy it. Don't ask the questions that make them stop talking. Listen. Pull the stories out of them. Help them to help you. You don't know yet who you are, right? You're just high school students. You're in puberty, you're adolescents. Don't close doors. Explore options. Find people that will support you in your career and your desire for your future. That is what is important. Introduce yourself and ask for a mentor. People are very honored to feel that you think they are, smart enough, rich enough, strong enough for you to want them to mentor you. Don't make it onerous. Just say, I would love to learn from you. Okay? Those are my words of wisdom. I want to be rich. Okay, so that is what you want to be, but do you want to be Trump and rich? Do you want, I mean, again, I don't want to be political, but what kind of a person do you want to be? Do you want integrity? Do you want to be someone who is seen as a pillar of your community? Those are all things that ideally come along with being rich. But being rich is a what? Who are you going to be to become rich? Are you going to steal your money from other people? Are you going to create something that you're going to be able to sell and benefit everyone? There are many different ways to acquiring riches. But no, one of the most important riches is being able to sleep at night, having a clear conscience, knowing that you do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not that you will be rewarded for it. My aunt has a wonderful expression. It's called, no good deed goes unpunished. And I hate to say it is sadly true. When you help someone up out of the gutter, do not be surprised if they knock you back down. You help them and you're like, but you should love me. No good deed goes unpunished. You do good deeds because they are the right thing to do, not because the person is going to thank you or pay you or say that you're the best. You do it because of who you are. So let's find who we are. Let's make this world a better place, okay? Right, moving on. We are now going into my favorite thing, maglev. All right. Where's my share button? That's not what I want. There. That's what All right. Here we go. Electromagnetism. All right. I'm going to abbreviate a little of this because I've already been through it once today. A lot of this is just trying to beat into your head that when a wire is moved in a magnetic field, the field induces a current in the wire. Conversely, a magnetic field is produced by an electric charge in motion. That is the reason there are electromagnets, electric motors, and generators. A charge moving in a straight line, as through a straight wire, generates a magnetic field that spirals around the wire. Okay, this is the idea of the microphone. A coil around a magnet can also be made to move in a pattern of varying frequency and amplitude to induce a current in a coil. This is the basis for a number of devices, notably the microphone. Sound causes a diaphragm to move in and out with the varying pressure waves of your voice. If the diaphragm is connected to a movable magnetic coil around a magnetic core, it will produce a varying current that is analogous to the incident sound waves. The electrical signal can then be amplified, recorded, or transmitted as desired. Tiny, super strong, rare earth magnets are now being used to make miniaturized microphones in cell phones. I'm just quickly looking up. There he is. Hang on. Let me change my sharing just to be promoting minority inventors who are pretty dang amazing. Let me show you Mr. James E. West, inventor of the electret microphone. Okay. All right, this is Mr. West, and I've actually met him. He is an incredible inventor. He is the one responsible for the microphone in your phone. The electret microphone is an incredible patent. So in 62, James West and Gerhard Sessler patented the electret microphone, working with Bell Laboratories. The microphone became widely used because of its high performance, accuracy, and reliability, in addition to low cost, small size, and lightweight. The electret microphone, thin sheets of polymer electret film, are metal coated on one side to form the membrane of the movable plate capacitor. That converts the sound to electrical signals with high fidelity. 90% of today's microphones are electret microphones and are used in everyday items such as telephones, sound, music, equipment, and hearing aids. West was born in Prince Edward County, Virginia, attended Temple University, and interned at Bell Labs. Okay? This guy is amazing. His mind is so sharp, it is crazy. But I wanted you to see inventors, people that are making a difference in our world. Do you know what it would be like if you didn't have a teeny microphone in your phone? He invented that in 1962, way before there were cell phones, okay? So keep thinking, keep doing, all right? Hang on, let me get my present up. So this is what that looks like, all right? You have sound waves that come in. You have a diaphragm here, and attached to that diaphragm is the coil that is moving but in the current. By moving that coil back and forth, you are generating electrical current that mimics the sound waves. Okay? When this modulated electric signal is applied to a coil, it produces an oscillating magnetic field. That means a field that goes back and forth, which causes the coil to move in and out over a magnetic core in the same pattern. The coil is then attached to a movable speaker cone so that it reproduces audible airwaves in the air, audible sound waves in the air. First practical application of the microphone and speaker was the telephone, patented by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876. Although this technology was improved and refined, it is still the basis for recording and reproducing sound. There's the original phone. See the diaphragm? These are the tin can phones. Okay, electromagnetism. The application of electromagnets are nearly countless. Faraday's law of induction forms the basis for many aspects of our modern society, including not only electric motors and generators, but electromagnets of all sizes. The same principle used by a giant crane to lift junk cars to a scrapyard is also used to align microscopic magnetic particles on a computer hard disk to store binary data, and new applications are being developed every day. We know that passing a simple wire through a magnetic field will generate current. Shaping that wire and separating the ends will give me polarity, north and south. See how they have turned the wire into a box that is rotating between the north and south, and the two ends are separate. That gives you, like right now, the right side is north, the left side is south. This is a way to generate current at home. Say this is a drill with just a regular magnet attached to the rotating part. Then you have a nail with 1,500 turns of copper on it to make the coil. When you spin this magnet near the coil, you are inducing electricity to move through those wires. Okay. Okay. Magnetic levitation. This is our new term. Everything you need to know about maglev. first honed as a concept by Tesla and SpaceX founder Elon Musk in 2012. The Hyperloop is touted at the future of transportation. Magnetic levitation can be defined, this is our word, as, you think I get this right, hang on. There we are. Magnetic levitation can be defined as the suspension of an object in the air using only magnetic fields and no other support. You are levitating it with magnetic field. What is maglev? Magnetic levitation, or maglev, is when an object is suspended in the air using only magnetic fields and no other support. Along with super fast maglev trains, magnetic levitation has various engineering uses, including magnetic bearings. I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, help, I'm not presenting. Sorry. Hang on. Okay. All right. It can also be used for display and novelty purposes, such as floating speakers. I have one of these crazy things I could bring in. It's a floating globe, not a speaker. Okay, what is magnetic levitation? Okay. So this is the idea that you have magnets around a pencil and then one magnet on either side, and it's able to sit on that magnetic field. Magnetic levitation's best known use is the maglev trains. Currently only in operation in a handful of countries, including China and Japan. Maglev trains are the fastest in the world with a recorded speed of 375 miles an hour. However, what is the problem with cutting edge technology? Like we learned in our kitchens, if I want to get the most efficient stove, I'm going to end up paying a huge premium for that. I want the pretty efficient stove because it's cheap and efficient. These trains are incredibly expensive to construct and often end up languishing as little used vanity projects. So that is a real problem. How does maglev work? Okay, on the left here, like poles repel and push the train upward. Okay, if they have north magnets and they put north magnets on the bottom of the train, those magnets are going to repel. Then like poles repel and push the train forward. Opposite poles attract and pull the train forward. There are two main types of maglev train technology: electromagnetic suspension and electrodynamic suspensions. Okay, electrodynamic is electromagnets on the guideway levitate the car. Electromagnets on the cars lift the cars. Induct track. Permanent magnets levitate over passive coils. EMS uses electronically controlled electromagnets in the train to attract it to a magnetic steel track. EDS uses superconducting electromagnets on both the train and the rail to produce a mutually repellent force that makes the carriages levitate. The thing about superconducting magnets is they need to be cooled to nearly absolute zero. So that takes a lot of energy and that costs money. It makes the whole system very expensive. EDS technology uses an induct track system and an array of permanent magnets on the underside of the train instead of powered electromagnets or cooled superconducting magnets. This is also known as passive magnetic levitation technology. It sounds a lot more energy efficient to me. I don't know why they are pointing to the induct track system for electromagnetic when it's to the right. In Musk's original concept, the pods floated on a layer of pressurized air, similar to how a puck floats on an air hockey table. However, a more recent version of the technology from Hyperloop Transportation Technologies, one of the two companies leading the Hyperloop race, uses passive magnetic levitations to achieve the same effect. So induct track seems to be the wave of the future. I actually don't need my mask since I have no one in class. This also means we might get to start our weekend early. All right, with this method, magnets are placed on the underside of the capsules in a Hallbach array. If we knew what that was, it would help. This focuses the magnetic force of the magnets on one side of the array, while almost entirely canceling out the field on the other. These magnetic fields cause the pods to float, as they pass over electromagnetic coils embedded in the track. Thrust from linear motors propels the pods forward. HTTS main rival, Hyperloop One, is also using a passive magnetic levitation system where pod side permanent magnets repel a passive track, with the only input energy coming from the speed of the pod. For both systems, air pressure in the tunnel is lowered using air pumps in order to aid the pod's movement. Low air pressure dramatically reduces drag so that only a relatively small amount of electricity is needed to achieve top speeds. Now that we understand magnetic levitation, it's time to look at the progress companies are making in expanding the technology for general use. Alex. Welcome, Alex. You're very late. We're just finishing up our fabulous magnetic levitation. In exciting news, Virgin's Hyperloop safely transported 2 passengers on the 2-seater Pod 2. That was last year in 2020. This vehicle is a much smaller version of what we expect to come later. Per Virgin's projections, we will someday see a 28-passenger vehicle. The current model only reached 107 miles per hour, but they did so safely, and we'll call that a win. Of course, Elon Musk isn't letting Virgin, take all of Hyperloop glory. In July of this year, Musk tweeted he was looking forward to building a 10-kilometer long tunnel with several curves to better mimic real Hyperloop travel. With such great strides in 2020, it's a natural wonder when we'll see the transportation in full use. Too early to tell, honestly. The technology is incredibly expensive. It still has a long way to go to reach the projected speeds scientists and engineers think it capable of. As for now, we'll continue to watch the progress and keep you updated on the latest developments in magnetic levitation-based transports, such as the Hyperloop. Okay. Woohoo! We're done. All right. Let's go back and consult our fabulous module. All right, there's part 3. Come on. Where is my module? Okay. So right now, if you have not, Intro to Construction Practices is part 1. If you've not finished it, go ahead and just open up the lecture and fill in the answers. This is pretty straightforward. You can probably answer them yourself. That's 20 points. Today, this is what we're working on. Okay? Here's your worksheet. 2 methods or styles of construction. This is part 2. Select 2 methods of construction to research and review. So these could be straw bale, SIP, ICF, Adobe or Cob, earthship, or wood frame. Whatever floats your boat. What types of materials are needed for this construction? Wooden frame needs a lot of wooden nails. Adobe, you need straw and you need mud or clay. Regions of the world where this construction is used. Wooden construction is used all over. Let's say, mud houses or Adobe or daub is primarily in the South. It's where there are not a lot of trees for construction materials. You're going to end up using the clay. What special skills, training, or certification permits do you need to complete this type of construction? I'm guessing like a brick mason probably has to be certified. They do very precise work. The basic steps in constructing a home with this method, the advantages or disadvantages of building with this method. Just give me the name of the construction technique and 1 video here, and the name of the other technique and a video here. Last are any citations you want to put in down here. So all you're doing, we have a half hour, you have till 1:30. Research 2 different techniques for building your walls, right?
What do you mean video?
All right, so let's watch this. I'm going to put Adobe Construction Made Easy. Let's search that. Okay, and I'm going to look at video. Okay, so here, this looks like just what I'm looking. Come on. Why aren't you opening? So I'm interested in building something out of Adobe. I like the way this wall looks. You know, so how do I do that? Here's a video. So if I skip the ads.
Hello, this is Kirk Ranella, Adobe in Action's Director of Education, and this is our 2014 brickmaking process. We start off by running some local soil through a 1/2-inch screen. That's what I'm doing right here. It's good to break the soil down a little bit smaller for Adobe brickmaking and mortar. Here's a close-up of the soil again. It's local soil from the Santa Fe River Basin, and we're purchasing it from a local gravel yard and running it through the screen to get it ready. This is an example of one of our mixing stations. We're using these feed.
Okay, so what you might do is sit and watch this and learn how do you make Adobe, okay? All I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy the URL of my video. I'm gonna drop it in here. This is called Making Adobe Bricks. Explains how to make Adobe bricks. Okay, my second technique. I'm not going to do lath and plaster. Let's do, I guess, just wood frame walls. Everybody likes a wood frame wall. Wood frame is probably what 80% of the world's construction is. So I'm looking up wood frame construction. All right. And I'm going to go to videos. Man, the internet is bad. Okay, I got a 3-minute video. Wood frame construction, timber frame home. See what it's all about. I think our video is just a time-lapse video of this construction, but it will show you. Okay, so this is going to be a time lapse showing us all the stages that a house getting framed goes through, if it would ever load. Come on. There's their foundation. Man, is the internet bad. So they attach a footer to the foundation so that they can nail things to it. They put in the floor joists. Looks terrible. Now they're putting on the flooring. Now this is our part. There are going to be some walls coming up. All right, see how they, hang on, wait. All right. That was a wood frame wall being built right in front of you. Okay, from nothing, they lay it out. They start with a big long 2x4. They lay out all the other pieces. They attach the top. These are actually, it looks like 1x6s or 2x6s. These are not 2x4s. They are going to nail or screw them all together and make one big panel. They're going to tilt that up, and then they're going to attach a wall to the outside and the inside. Okay. Now up it goes. So for us, with our tool bag, you're going to be using your popsicle sticks, or the only thing anybody used in these were the coffee stirrers. The coffee stirrers are very small. If you run out of them, you can go to Starbucks and steal them. I'm giving you permission. So that is how you're simulating the 2x4s, creating the framing of your walls. This is all called framing a house. I guess that's the garage. All right, I think we get the point. So anyway, I'm going to take, hang on, actually, let's go back to YouTube. I just copy my URL. I go back to my worksheet. And I'm just going to drop this here. And I'm going to say wood frame house building. Explain. Create your wood frame walls as frames first, then attach the exterior, and then tilt up the wall. Okay. Okay, so that's those two. So let's see, if I said I want to make Adobe, type of materials, straw, clay, and water. Region is the Southwest. Special skills, I don't believe so. I don't think you're certified in Adobe home building. I'm saying that the advantage or disadvantage of building with Adobe is that it is low cost and great insulation. So it's going to be cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Okay, now I've got wood frame, right? Types of materials, wood, not weed, wood. Wood, nails / screws, plywood, 2x4s, not 1x4s, 2x4s. Region of the world, all over. Special skills or certifications, I am guessing yes. Oh, basic steps in constructing a home. So I say create and cure bricks, then build home. That seems like some simple steps. The steps for the wood frame, lift, okay. I think I'm done, right? I've got Adobe, it's straw and clay, soil and water. It's in the Southwest of the US. I don't think there's special skills. My basic steps for constructing a home is create and cure the bricks, then build the home. The advantages or disadvantages, it is low cost and it's great insulation. Wood frame needs wood, nails, screws, plywood, 2x4s. It seems to be utilized all over. I think you can get special certifications and permits. You can be like a master carpenter. The basic construction of a home using this message, make the frames on the ground and then lift them into place. It's very strong yet flexible, great for earthquake zones or hurricane zones because they are resilient. Okay, I've got my 2 videos showing me how to do it, and I didn't really have any other citations. Okay, that's 20 points for me. Now I want to start building mine. Where am I going to get my mud? I don't know. I'm kind of curious about the Adobe one. You can turn off your sound, but I was just going to watch the end of that to see how we do make Adobe, if there are certifications.
Troughs, and they're on a stand, so everything's at waist height, which makes it very comfortable. And we're using these 3-gallon hard rubber buckets instead of shovels. We use shovels to fill them up with our materials, but we can get a more accurate mix if we use buckets because everyone's shovel is a different size. And here's a shot of the mixing station. Again, we're using garden hose to actually mix the mix inside the station. And we have these rain barrels where we store water. We're trying to conserve water. And so this way we don't waste water. These are the rain barrels that we're using. So we're getting ready to do a mix now. This is Mike Lopatch, our executive director. We start by adding water to the mixing station. We're going to add 4 of these buckets, and they're 3 gallons. So we have 12 gallons of water total. We're just going to add them. We like to add the water first because it makes it easier to mix then. If we put the dry material in first and then the water, it's harder to mix, and we tend to have the dry mix sticking to the bottom of the station. So here's our last bucket. So we have 12 gallons of water in the station. We're using straw. We like to add straw to our adobes. This straw has gone through a leaf mulcher, one pass through the leaf mulcher. And now we're going to use those same buckets. We're using the same bucket for all of our measurements, and we're going to add 2 buckets. Notice how we're not really compacting it. We're just going to fill the bucket loosely with the straw to the top, and then we'll add that to our mix. So far we have 12 gallons of water, and that is 3 gallons. Now we have 6 gallons of chopped straw. And it's always good then to get the straw a little bit wet in the mix. So we're using the garden hoe here just to get the straw distributed in the mix. Otherwise it tends to clump up a little bit. Notice how comfortable it is to work at this height. This is one of the reasons why we chose this system, because we're working with a lot of volunteers and we want to keep things up off the ground. Now Mike's adding our screened soil. So this is our clay-rich soil. Of course we need clay, and this soil has a pretty decent clay content. And Mike's going to fill up a bucket. We'll show you how we do this. So we fill it all the way to the top, and then we just strike it with our hand like so. And then that gets put into the mix. And for this size mix, we're doing 7 buckets of the soil, the clay-rich soil, I'm calling it. Now, this is one of the things we like to point out is it's good to have one person, at least one person, mixing while the mix is going in. Otherwise, it tends to clump up at the bottom. So here we have now all 7 of our clay-rich soil buckets in the mix, and Mike and I are just agitating the mix, hydrating the clay, making sure the clay is our glue, so we want to make sure that it's nicely distributed in the water. And then the second ingredient is the sand. We're using washed concrete sand. It's very coarse. There are little rocks, all the way from little rocks down to small grain sizes. That's very important for making strong earthen building materials. And here also we're going to add 7 buckets of the mix. So it's a 50-50 mix, 50% of our clay-rich soil and 50% of our washed concrete sand, coarse sand. Of course, your soil mix might be different. So Mike's adding, especially with the sand, it's very important that you have at least one person mixing while you're adding the sand, because the sand tends to clump up at the bottom of the mix. And here we are now, we have all of our sand added. So we have 4 buckets of water, 2 buckets of straw, 7 buckets of clay-rich soil, local soil, and now 7 buckets of washed concrete sand, coarse sand. And it gets a little bit difficult to mix, but it is considered a wet mix. I'm just showing you here with the action cam, this movement of 2 people working at a station and getting the mix, getting the sand evenly distributed, getting everything evenly distributed. That's what we want. It's quite easy because we are doing a wet mix, and we'll talk more about that later. And then the last step is just to go in with your hands real quick, check the edges, make sure there are no clumps. It's easy to miss clumps along the edges. Here's one that Mike found, and we're just going to break it up with his hand now. That's sort of the last step. in the mixing process. And this mix is now ready to go out into the field into our forms. Here are our forms. We've made 50 forms. There are 6 bricks each, so we have a total of 300 bricks that we can lay down at one time. They're made with 2x4s and they're screwed together. Brick size, of course, in New Mexico is 10 by 14 by 3.5. So we lay these brick forms out on the ground like so, 2 together. And a lot of times people wet them. We don't wet them. We're using such a wet mix that it's not really necessary. This is our screed tool. It's just a piece of fence welded onto a handle. And now we're transferring the mud mix. This is how we're doing it with our volunteers as well. We're keeping it all very low tech. We're transferring the mud mix using those same 3-gallon buckets to the wheelbarrow. And we want to go with about a half a wheelbarrow load. If we go any more, it's too heavy for our volunteers and we risk tipping them over. And then the wheelbarrows go out into the field like so. The forms are waiting. And then we'll simply start on one end, one 4-brick side of the form, and we'll dump the mix out into the form. Normally we have a team of people doing this. And then there's a little bit of hand work just to get, sometimes we spill a little bit on the sides. Notice how wet the mix is. There are 2 ways of making adobes. One way is to do a very stiff mix and then pour the mix into the form and pull the form right away. This is the wet method where it would not be possible to pull a form right away. We have to let it sit for a few hours, or in our case, we let it sit overnight. And now Mike is going to take our screed and simply distribute the mud mix over these 4 sections of the brick form. Usually that's about what a wheelbarrow will fill, about 4 sections. And then without fussing too much, we're just going to strike the
That's
top
enough adobe brick
of the
making.
mud.
All right, team. I am willing, if you are, to do the same thing we did last time, since I have no one in class. Take 10 minutes, come back at 1:30. We'll go through the info flow and whatever they have, and then we will start our weekend. Okay? Stop sharing. Find my info flow. I hear you all running away. I don't blame you. What am I looking for? Everybody remembers evacuation. Friday. Okay.
Mr.
Yes,
Could you check if you got my I just submitted it by Google Drive.
sure,
Google Drive, can you check if you got it?
sure. Hang on. I don't know why. My internet is terrible. Looks like I got 2 from you, Brian.
You got 2? Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think you gave me both. I got a 1 and a 2. I got introduction to practices. Let me just take a look.
yeah, I submitted one before I started this one.
Okay. Maybe it's that you were submitting it into the wrong one and that's why you lost your stuff, but don't worry. Let me take a look.
Nah, I found the one that had the other answers.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
I hate having to duplicate stuff. Looks like I got some good stuff in here. I need to be grading things. I'll get to it when I get home.
All right, thank you.
Oh,
You
don't
got it?
forget to change the share setting when you upload something using a link.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's right. Here it is. I got it.
All right.
Residential, commercial. You're looking great. This looks fabulous. All right, that's perfect. You are in good shape there. Let me just take a look at what I've got in the other one. Boy, my internet's bad. It's taking me a minute just to change a page. I got to do a speed test. It's just scary how slow the web is in school. There you are. Chenier, you're knocking it out. Cool. You're doing great, Brian. You did turn in your part 2 and it looks perfect.
All right, thank you.
That is awesome. So now all you have to do till the end of the year is work on building your walls. Try and have fun with that.
Wait, but you got to build it with the ones I chose, right?
Yeah, I got you. You got wood frame and Adobe. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can do whatever you want for the actual model, but those are hopefully, letting you figure out how to do stuff. But just create one of these. Just give me one Adobe wall and one wood frame. So yours is going to look something like this.
All right, thank you.
All I need is a photo. So it doesn't have to be durable or whatever. It just needs to last long enough for you to take a picture of it. Okay, everybody? Since people aren't going to be in class, I can't see your projects. All you have to do is create your 2 walls, hopefully on a base, and take a picture of it and submit it into that submission. Okay? If you don't do anything else, do this part 2. This is really easy. It's 20 points. Please, I want everyone passing. All right? All right, let's get into, we've got a little info flow, and we will get the heck out of Dodge. Where did my info flow go? I had it, I swear. This is what happens when you have 60 icons open. Come on, InfoFlow, where did you sneak off to? Where's my Google Drive? All right, I'm gonna have to get rid of a couple of these. Ah, yes, no, maybe. Sorry about this. When in doubt, just look the dang thing up. Boy, my web is bad. Come on, I know I have it up. No. That's not InfoFlow. Come on. I had it, I swear. Why am I not seeing anything anywhere? The internet can't even go to Google. I'm going to try shifting over to MCPS guest and see if that helps. It's just fighting me something